everyone has everything they need. Do you have your water bottles filled with water? How about some sunscreen to make sure we don't get any sunburns? A hat and sunglasses to make sure we can see and we don't get any sun on our face? What about our lunch box with our snack and our lunch in it? And don't forget your binoculars. Did you bring your binoculars? Good. Everyone has everything we need? Awesome. Now it's time to go into the zoo. Wonder what animals we'll see. But make sure we don't run in front of our parents. We don't go too far ahead where they can't see us. You stay by parents or a teacher. Hold hands with a parent or teacher or one of your friends. You guys can't even hold my hands, okay? Let's go see what animals we're going to see today.
Okay, guys, this is our map again. Now remember, we're down here at the entrance. Now we need to go up to the middle of the zoo. We're going to go straight. Let's see how many steps we need to take to get to the middle. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to the middle. Let's take 5 steps. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, we can either go left to see Cat Canyon and the birds, or we can go right to go back to Africa Plains and our confusing creatures, or we can go straight ahead to the turtles in the reptile house. Wonder where we should go today? I have an idea. Let's go straight ahead to the reptile house. So let's see how many steps we're going to need to take. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Let's take those 4 steps. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're here at the reptile house. I wonder what we're going to see at the reptile house. Maybe it'll be this creature. Ooh. Maybe it'll be this one. Ooh, that one looks scary. How about this one? Oh, I don't think I want to mess with that one either. How about that one? Oh, that looks kind of cool. Well, let's see what our first reptile at the reptile house is. It's the Galapagos tortoise. That's a huge tortoise. Now, how many letters are in the first word Galapagos? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 letters in Galapagos. Now let's look at the word tortoise. Let's see how many letters are in tortoise. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 letters in tortoise. Now, how many letters are in the full name? So that means we're going to add them. That means we're going to continue counting. We're not going to stop once we hit the end of Galapagos. Ready? I'm going to need your help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 letters. Whoa, that's a lot of letters. Now let's look at the first letters of the words. Let's look at the first letter of Galapagos. What is that first letter? That's right, the letter G. And what does G say? Good job. And what's the first letter of our second word, tortoise? That's right, it's the letter T. Now, oh, I hear Zookeeper Dan coming. Let's listen to hear what he tells us about the Galapagos tortoise.
Here, get ready. What kind of tortoise is this, Dan? We're going to watch me ears. This is a Galapagos tortoise. He's very famous around the world. His name's Hugo. So Hugo. He's 68 years old. He's a baby. He weighs about 175 kilos, but he's not the easiest animal to get on the scales, I guess. Hey, he's just a baby. Look at this. Look at this tortoise. Just a baby.
Now, as Zookeeper Dan said, that Hugo is 60 years old. Now, Galapagos tortoises can be over 100 years old. And the oldest was over 170 years old. Oh, there's its food. Hopefully it doesn't knock it over. Look at him walk. Whoa, he's so big. He's almost as big as Miss Jen if I were to lay down next to him. It is the largest tortoise in the world. Now, it can go without food or drinking water for up to a year because it stores all that food in that nice big shell. The Galapagos tortoise can tuck itself into its shell, and the shell isn't just a house or a shelter for it. It's also connected to it, so we can't even try and separate it from itself, okay? So we want to be careful. Now, the Galapagos tortoise is pretty heavy, but that shell is filled with a lot of air, so that way it's not so heavy for the tortoise. But we want to make sure it never goes on its back. It might hurt itself.
So what does he like to eat? Like he does have a bit of a sweet tooth, so things like sweet potato and carrot are his absolute favourites. But as much as I possibly can, I try and keep it green. So we feed him a lot of endive, hay, and then we'll also get him a bit of prickly pear, so a type of cactus. I always think if you keep it green, you're pretty safe. You don't want to reward him with the chocolate too much.
His head is massive.
And obviously, so no teeth, but a serrated beak, which you can imagine trying to break down dense vegetation. Having that serrated beak definitely helps.
Wow, that is such a big tortoise. And look how high it stretches its neck. It needs to be able to eat the leaves off some high bushes or some other places around it. And one of the ways that they like to fight is by stretching their neck up long. Well, let's leave him alone and we can go talk somewhere else. Okay, let's say bye to Hugo and Zookeeper Dan. Bye. And thank you, Zookeeper Dan, for all that wonderful information. Now, we can see that the Galapagos tortoise has scales on its legs, and those are used to help protect its face when it's trying to tuck its face and neck into its shell. Sometimes it tucks into its shell not only to protect itself from predators, but also to help keep it cool when it gets way too hot out. So another way they help stay cool is by staying in the mud, and that will help keep them cool during the day. They can sleep for 16 hours a day, and when they sleep, they like sleeping in the mud, some brush, so some bushes, or a place where there's a little bit of water where they can stay warm, because they need the sunlight to help stay warm, but if they get too much sun, then they get really hot. Now, the Galapagos tortoise lays its eggs, and its eggs are the size of a tennis ball. That's a pretty big egg. Now, it's hard to tell, but the Galapagos tortoise doesn't have any ears. It just has two tiny little holes on the side of its head to hear. It has a poor sense of smell and eyesight, so it kind of relies on its hearing to help it know what's around it. Galapagos is an old Spanish word, and it meant tortoise. So the island it's from, Galapagos Island, was named after the tortoise. Now, a group of the Galapagos tortoises are called a creep. And what's kind of interesting is the Galapagos tortoises have a way of fighting, but they don't touch each other. What they do is they stretch up their necks really high, and whichever tortoise can raise its head the highest wins. That's a nice way of fighting. I'm glad that they're not going to hurt each other. Well, I think it's time to move on from the Galapagos tortoise. I wonder what animal we're going to see next. Look at that! It's a rattlesnake! Whoa! Okay, let's see. How many letters are in rattlesnake? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 letters in rattlesnake. Now, what's the first letter of rattlesnake? That's right, the letter R. Oh, look, there's a video for us to look at. Should we take a peek?
What's that sound? It's a rattlesnake warning. You're coming too close. Rattlesnakes are fascinating animals. Some of them live right here in San Diego. Rattlesnakes are famous for the rattle, which is pretty cool. It's made up of hollow rings of keratin. Same thing as your fingernail. When the rattle moves back and forth, it creates a friction, and that's what gives you that rattle sound. This may warn off large animals and humans from stepping on them. The rattle means, watch out! During spring and summertime, you may find a rattlesnake sunning itself on a rock, a patio, or even a hiking trail. If you do find one, just leave it be. Remember, rattlesnakes don't want to bite you. They'd much rather bite into a tasty mouse or rat. And that's why rattlesnakes are so important. They help keep the number of mice and rats under control. Watch out, rodents!
Wow, what a cool video. Well, I'm glad they don't want to hurt us. I'm glad I know what sound to listen for now, because I don't want to be near it. The rattlesnake can be 5.5 feet long. That's as long as Miss Jen is. Whoa, that's a pretty big snake. Now, does a snake have any legs? No, so how does the rattlesnake move? It crawls using its scales to pull it across the ground. The rattlesnake can live to be about 10 to 20 years old. Now, does the rattlesnake have any ears? No, so it doesn't hear very well. It relies on its eyesight and its sense of smell. But those things over here, those aren't nostrils. It uses its tongue to smell. So that's why you see a snake occasionally sticking out its tongue every once in a while, because it's trying to smell what's around it. When it's dark out, it can detect body heat from other creatures. And the rattlesnake can also sense movement from the vibrations that come from the ground. Now, it's hard to tell from this picture, but the rattlesnake's head is in the shape of a triangle. Do you remember how many sides are on a triangle? That's right, 3. Now, in order to grow, the rattlesnake has to shed its skin in a process called molting. Now, sometimes these rattles may break off, but don't worry. After it sheds its skin, more rattles will come back. So it just has to wait until it's time for it to grow again. The rattlesnake loves to sleep in the sun to warm up, and during the winter it will hibernate. That means sleep for a long time in caves or cliff ledges. During the summer, sometimes it'll stay underground or in caves to avoid too much sun and heat. Now, the rattlesnake is kind of an interesting creature. The rattlesnake lays eggs, but the eggs stay inside the mommy and will hatch inside the mommy. That's kind of different, but that's kind of cool. Well, that was a lot of fun information about the rattlesnake. Uh-oh, I hear a sound. No, it's not a rattlesnake. It's my tummy rumbling. I guess that means it's time for our snack break. Woohoo! I'm so hungry. I'm so glad it's snack time. Now it's time to pull up a seat anywhere on the grass over here at the zoo. They have so many wonderful spots. I want you to talk with mom or dad or your friends about what you learned about the rattlesnake and the Galapagos tortoise. You know, which one would you rather get to be near and see? Would you rather be by the rattlesnake or the Galapagos tortoise? I'll tell you my answer when we get back. And I can't wait to hear all the fun things you've learned. Well, we'll come back after snack. Enjoy your snack.